If we're talking about how this season can actually go right for the Raiders, I've got to keep it real with you. Everybody's been focused on what can go wrong, the holes on defense, the uncertainty with a new staff, the roster overhaul. That's fair. But the question we should be asking is simple. What has to happen for this team to catch people off guard and actually string together wins? And the truth is, it all comes down to one side of the ball. What's up, Raiders fans? Welcome to the NFL Playbook Raiders. If you're new here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. This channel is all about breaking down everything you need to know about the Raiders. Okay, so let's be real. Nobody's expecting the Raiders to suddenly roll out a top 5 defense. That's not who Patrick Graham is. That's not how this roster's built. This defense is probably going to bend. They'll give up long drives. They'll struggle at times against the better quarterbacks. So, the offense has to be the engine. If the Raiders are going to shock people, if they're going to pull off the kind of run the Commanders made last year, it has to be because Chip Kelly's system comes alive faster than anyone expects. Look back at Washington. Nobody thought their young quarterback was going to look that sharp that soon. Nobody thought that roster was ready to push teams, and yet they did. Why? Because they caught the league sleeping early. They weren't perfect, but they were dangerous. That's the blueprint. The Raiders don't have to be elite right away. They just need to be unpredictable, tough to prepare for, and able to lean on a couple of key players while the rest of the pieces fall into place. And let's not dance around it. The number one key here is Ashton Jeanty. If Jeanty comes in and takes the league by storm, if he's that rookie who looks like he's been here for years, everything changes. I'm not talking about him just being solid. I'm talking about him being the guy that makes defenses adjust, a back that can punish you between the tackles, burn you in the open field, and be a true weapon in the passing game. If he's that guy, suddenly this offense has an identity. But here's the part that doesn't get talked about enough. He can't do it alone. He needs lanes. He needs push. And that means the offensive line, the group everybody's been worried about, has to shock us. If this O-line is even above average young, if they can give Jeanty just a crease, just enough space to get rolling, then the Raiders have a way to dictate the tempo of games. That's how you beat better rosters. You don't give them the ball. You control the clock, you convert third and short, and you slowly take the air out of the game. Think about it. You're playing Kansas City. You're not going to shut down Mahomes for 4 quarters. You know that. But you can keep him on the sideline. You can frustrate him by making him watch 10-play drives end in points. That's how you win in this division. Body blows, converting those ugly 3rd and 3s, extending drives, wearing teams down until suddenly the 4th quarter is yours. Now, the good news is the weapons are here. Geno Smith is never going to be mistaken for an elite top 5 quarterback, but in the right system, with the right rhythm, he can absolutely distribute the ball. We've already seen the chemistry building with Jakobi Meyers. That's real. Trey Tucker finally starting to flash in practice. Add in Brock Bowers and Michael Mayer, 2 young tight ends who can force mismatches. And suddenly, this isn't some bare cupboard offense. It's a group with balance, deep threat, possession guys, tight ends who can eat up the seams, and a rookie running back who can be the centerpiece. If Chip Kelly knows how to use these guys together, it's dangerous. And that's really the story. Chip Kelly. He is the single biggest X factor in this whole season. The Raiders didn't just hire him. They made him the highest paid coordinator in the league, $6 million a year. And he has to show why. Because a good offensive coordinator doesn't just make the stars shine. He elevates the role player. Suddenly, Trey Tucker, Donta Thornton, the depth pieces start making plays you didn't see coming. That's when an offense becomes unpredictable. That's when defenses don't know who to key in on. From my perspective, this offense has about 4 weeks to figure it out. By week 4, we need to see rhythm. We need to see Jeanty being used creatively, not just pounding him up the middle, but getting him into space, throwing to him out of the backfield, letting him turn a screen into a 25-yard gain. We need to see Geno comfortable, pushing the ball downfield when it's there, but living in that 8 to 12-yard range where he's always been efficient. If they can get to that point by week 4, then this season looks completely different. Now, I'm not sugarcoating it. The defense is going to struggle. That's just reality. Patrick Graham isn't a coach who dials up 3-and-outs all game. He never has been. His defenses bend. They give up long drives, and then they hope for a missed kick or a turnover. That's the book. And with the roster turnover on that side of the ball, it's going to take time. So the offense has to carry the load. And here's the honest expectation. Playoffs? Probably not. This team won 4 games last year. To me, getting to 8 or 9 wins would be real progress. That's doubling your win total while breaking in a new system, a rookie back, and a revamped coaching staff. If they get there, that's something you can actually build on. That's something that tells you the culture is shifting. The foundation is getting stronger. But what if everything clicks? What if Chip Kelly proves worth every penny? What if Jeanty really is that dude, and the O-line surprises everybody? Then we're talking about a team that can push 9 or 10 wins, maybe even sneak into the playoff conversation. That's not the expectation, that's the ceiling, but it's there. Now, for all the optimism, I'm not ignoring the other side. If Jeanty struggles, if the O-line looks like we all fear it might, if Chip Kelly doesn't adjust to the NFL speed, this could get ugly fast. That's how you end up in that 4 to 5 win range again. That's why I keep saying it. The season comes down to those two things, the O-line and Chip Kelly. The other piece to keep in mind is Geno Smith. One stat I love. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league in the final 4 minutes of games. He's calm, he's accurate, he can close. The key is getting him there. If the Raiders can keep games close into the fourth quarter, they'll always have a shot. That's where Geno shines. But if they're down 2 scores by halftime because the offense sputtered early, forget it. That's not the type of quarterback who can pull you out of a hole every week. And this ties back into the pass rush. If the Raiders are playing with a lead in the fourth quarter, now you unleash Maxx Crosby, Malcolm Kuntz, maybe even Tyree Wilson. Pin your ears back, get after the quarterback, and force mistakes. That's when the defense looks good, when the game script tilts in their favor, but they need the offense to give them that chance. There are other wild cards. Isaiah Pola-Mao is a guy I've had my eye on. He flashed last year, and I think he could really break out. Same with some of the depth guys who just need to adjust to the speed of the league. But again, those are supporting pieces. The heart of this team is what Chip Kelly does with Jeanty, with Meyers, with Bowers, with that offensive line. That's the story. And here's where I'll plant my flag. From my perspective, the Raiders don't need to be perfect this year. They just need to show growth. If they average 32 points a game, great. But really, it's about consistency. It's about going from dead last in rushing to at least league average. It's about turning long third downs into short third downs because you're actually running the football effectively on early downs. It's about getting fans to watch on Sundays and say, finally, this team has an identity. Rushing. No rhythm, no flow. A passing offense that looked better on paper than it really was because they were forced to throw every down. That's not sustainable. That's not Raiders football. But I'll tell you this, I'll happily be wrong. If this team makes the playoffs, if the defense is suddenly top 5, if the O-line is the best in football, I'll eat every word. Because at the end of the day, I want what every Raider fan wants, a product worth watching on Sundays.